to go and come up with findings, on these issues. The INEC officials, I believe, did a lot of work. They went around the streets. They invited people from these local government areas. They interacted with them. The INEC opened registration centers in the camps. Now, everybody that is displaced, belonging to any local government area, including those who are not living in the camps, they came. They presented either their temporary voters card or they gave out their names, local government, wards, and polling units. And it is there in the INEC record. So long as you are registered, majority of them actually have their voters card. But of course,
what about those who don't? Because, I mean, there's an attack coming. Boko Haram is invading your town. I'm sure that the temporary voters card is the last thing you're going to reach for before you take flight.
That's what I said. Some of them gave their names, their local government areas, their wards and polling units. And the data is there. INEC has the data.
Okay.
Majority of the permanent voters cards that we are all collecting is based on 2011 data.
Okay,
except the continuous voter registration.
Were some of them given their permanent voters cards by proxy, or they all collected?
No, they collected from the INEC.
Individually?
Yeah, they collected from the INEC. Look, these people.
Where did they do the collection? In the camp?
At the camps. The INEC established, sent the opened what I may call, I don't know whether it is right to call them polling units. They went to these camps and announcements were made. People from
they went to the government
controlled
camps.
People government controlled camps, and these camps, like I said, they are being managed not by the state government alone. The state government is there through the State Emergency Management Agency. Then you have the National Emergency Management Agency, which is under the federal government. Then you have the army, which whether we like or not, are deployed by the federal government. So they all went to these government-controlled camps and obtained their permanent voters card. If we are talking about some people not having voter card, I think it's not about IDPs alone. It is a national problem.
Okay, so those that do not have their voters cards now are those that did not come to the camps?
Yes, are those who didn't go to the camps, if at all an IDP does not have a permanent voters card. There are two issues. Either the person didn't go to the camp to obtain the card, or maybe INEC has not supported, but that is left for INEC. I am not supposed to answer issues on permanent voters card. It's entirely an INEC responsibility. But the issue of voters cards, like we know, if there are challenges of people not being able to get their permanent voters card, it is a national issue. It doesn't have to do with IDPs or non-IDPs.
In your opinion, and having associated with them, are the internally displaced persons enthusiastic about voting in the nation?
Very much enthusiastic. Very much. You see, I don't want to go political. If you notice, I've avoided calling APC, PDP since I started talking. But the fact of the matter is that the whole issue of IDPs asking them to return, not to vote, is being orchestrated by a former governor in the state, who is the chieftain of the PDP. And the truth of the matter is that you can see the handwriting on the wall based on the level of enthusiasm. In politics, when a politician visits an area, he can tell from the body language if the people there, if the atmosphere favors him or not. So the fact of the matter is that the PDP in Borno State, under the former governor Ali Morisho, does not want elections to be held in Borno State to avoid defeat. Nothing more than that.
Okay. The president's visit in the course of this week to some areas that have been reclaimed, how has that affected the psyche of the people in that neighborhood?
Well, I think it's reassuring. It is reassuring because, this issue, you see, the Boko Haram issue, unfortunately, because it has been in the media for a long time. And then with the social media thing and the Facebook and whatever that we have, and then with some people who have assumed the responsibility of journalists, sit down in their houses, create sites, and just post stories, there have been a lot of confusion, a lot of contradictions, where you find a situation where the defense headquarters says the Boko Haram has not taken over a particular community, and then you get reports from credible and questionable sources confirming that indeed these areas have been taken over. So there have been some of these controversies. So I think until the president went, some people might have had some reservations as to whether indeed some of these places were actually liberated or not. Because in the case of Ngala, Gambaru, it's a border town, called Ngala local government area. the Chadian troops, when they liberated that place, it was on air. We have the videos. The military is doing absolutely well. They are very much determined, and I think the president's visit is reassuring because it has proved to everyone that indeed Baga has been liberated. But of course, we know that Goza is still in the hands of Boko Haram. Bama is still there, and a host of local government areas. And we believe that the military is very much capable of doing that. But our concern now should be how to work with the Borno State government to evaluate the extent of damage, to reconstruct these houses, rebuild schools, hospitals, do a lot of post-traumatic management for these internally displaced persons, and then to think about getting them back into their society, into their community.
Okay, as we wind up, meanwhile, we understand some other towns were recaptured after the president's visit, and Goza might be one of them.
No, Goza had been captured long before now.
Had been
It
recaptured
has not been liberated, yes.
It has not been liberated.
Yeah, Goza has been in the hands of Boko Haram. The military did confirm. I was watching a video 2 days ago where somebody in the military was telling the security forces that after Baga, we are going to Goza, we are going to Bama. That's indeed a confirmation.
That's 2 days ago.